In this discussion, you can see how to create records using CSV file. In case you missed previous discussion about what is demo data and actual data or the data file information, you can check this discussion in below description. And you can see here like we have a list of playlist here related Odoo technical course. So if you are a beginner or intern or student and you are willing to learn Odoo from scratch, you can use this playlist. And in this playlist you can see all this playlist. Like this is a specific topic, like if you are going to only, if you want to learn only CLI command level sessions, you can see this one, this playlist. If you want to check the data type available in Odoo, you can check this one. Then after, what is the core and inbuilt methods and how can you override all those methods and what is the purpose of each method, you can use this one. Also you can see here like how many Odoo's model attributes supported by Odoo, you can see here. And here this is examples of Odoo, like the calculation of the edge and all, you can see here. The main playlist is this one, like Odoo version 13 and version 14 development technical tutorial. Let's move to our actual topic today, like how you can create records using CSV file. Already discussed in last discussion, but let me review one more time. Like for example, if you have any model and if you want to create records while installing the module or upgrading the module, that is also possible. Here if you see, like when you create a new database of this Odoo, so you can just observe in contact, while you create any contact you have predefined stats and predefined countries list. So here like how it is possible, so Odoo by default provides many ways to create a records using CSV and XML file. So today we will see how can you create records using CSV file. First we will see the basic functionality, then after we will move in advance, like how you can add relational fields also in a specific CSV file. So here let's say I'm going to in student profile and let me open the student profile, and you can see here we have this hobby field. Right now let me replace this checkbox to tags here and refresh the page. Okay, now you can see here like we don't have right now any hobbies. So if I'm going to here in this menu 2 and under menu 2 having this hobby model, so here right now we don't have hobby list of hobbies, so that's why in student profile it's not available here. So right now the purpose is you can create like hobby manually, writing something like this. But if you don't want to write like this, but instead you can just create one CSV file and dump into this uh, Odoo's database automatically based on the specific module upgradation time or installation time. So we will see this one, like how can we create hobbies using CSV file. Let me go to in editor. Okay, let me open this student module, and here first we need to add one more directory like data. Well, right now data directory is not mandatory, but for your kind information, like Odoo having some specific standard. And you can see here like controller related files you can see here in controllers directory. Then after demo related files you can see here in demo directory. Then after whatever the models we are creating in Odoo, we need to add or create such files in model. And all view related files we have to create in view part, likewise the wizard also. So here like whenever we create records especially, then we need to create it under the data directory. Again, that is not mandatory, you can add anywhere, but this is the standard process. So let me add one more file here like hobby. But before that, here like one more thing you have to remember. If you are going to add the records of specific model, you have to create the file name as a model name. Let me show you how. So first, for example, we are using the hobby list to create a records right now. So I'm going to copy this model name. Then after I'm going to here, I'm going to create a new file and paste here the name and then .csv file. Here you have a question, for example, like if I have a more than one word here, something like this, like res partner, then what I have to do, like which file name I have to create? Simply like you can just go to here, just create, paste the name and then .csv. You have to use same as like model name. This is your model name. We don't need to again use the underscore, we need to use only dot. Then after .csv file, so Odoo automatically understand, okay, this is hobby model and we need to dump into this hobbies model. We have to dump all the CSV files data into the hobbies model. So that's why we can create like this. Again, like here we have to mention the header part. Header part means the field name. For example, you have to create a field name, then this is the name of the field in first row. You can see here, for example, you have a many fields. Let's say this address model having a this fields. How can we add all the fields inside the CSV file? You can use like this, like street, then after street 1, city, state and country. This all are the field name, also the zip code. And here like I have to add here like the data, something like this. So right now we will forget about other models. We need to just focus about only hobby, because the hobby model having only one field, which is a name field. So here one more thing you have to remember is first is ID and then we have to use the name field. The ID we have to create our own ID name, and then after the name, the actual hobby name we have to mention here. So for example, in new line we have to click to enter, and in first we need to add ID like hobby underscore 1 in double quote, like yoga hobby underscore 2, for example meditation, like hobby underscore 3 gym, hobby underscore 4, okay, and hobby underscore 4 like singing, like this. And let me add let's say hobby 7, then 8, 9 and 10. Again we need to add here id as a unique. Why we need to add a unique, I will let you know later. First we will create this hobby list. So you can see here this is our hobby id of this yoga record. This is meditation record. The id is hobby underscore 2. So now for example this hobby underscore 1, which is the metadata, so forget about this ids. Only you just need to use, you need to focus only these records, because this id should be unique in Odoo side, specifically in this database side. I will also give you some more example why we are using this id here and what is the purpose of this id, we will see later. First we will create such records using this CSV file. Okay, so for first thing is like hobby.csv file we need to mention. Why we need to use like hobby? Because the hobby is a model name, so we have to use the same model name. Then after .csv file, here you can use the field name. So first header part is the field name, like id is the mandatory, and then after the field name which having a which contains hobby model. For example, right now we have only one field name, so we can use only the name field here. If we have more than one, you can just use like comma, like field name. Then after here you can use the like that field value. And then after we have to open the manifest file. Here you can see this one. Here in manifest file you can see this data key. We have to register here that file name like this. So under here, like we have to use data as a directory name and hobby.csv file, same as this security file, and then after comma, that's it. And we have to upgrade this module, but before that we have to restart the service first and upgrade the module like school underscore student, and we are just waiting for the file name. Okay, you can see here the hobby file successfully upgraded here. And let me refresh the page. Now you can see here all the file, like all the records created here, except these two. We created these two manually from front end side, but those records created using CSV file. So now we can understand why we used this field as a id. If you see here the yoga yoga record having a hobby underscore 1 as a id. So let me show you. Okay, let me open this record yoga, and if you open the developer mode, you can see here in view metadata, you can see this hobby underscore 1 as a XML ID. So whenever you change anything in here in the specific record, and while you upgrade this record again one more time, then it will update only this field. Let's say right now we have only yoga in front end side, but now I will change as a yoga part 2, something like this. So again I'm going to restart the service and upgrade the module. Again I'm going to in front end side and refresh the page. So you can see it's updated by default. So all rest records will be the same because there is no any changes in CSV file, so only having a one change. So Odoo automatically update this record. So this is the main reason to use id field. One more thing is, like for example, if you are not adding here id, then it will raise exception because id is not found here. For example, let's say I'm adding a wrong name of the file name, for example hobby, and like dot record, something like this I'm using, and I will try, and I'm going to here in manifest file, and I'm changing here like record.csv. Then what happened, we will see here. Try to upgrade this module, it will raise the exception. Let's see. Oh, okay, so you can see here like the key error hobby.record is not found in Odoo side. So that's the reason we have to always remember, if you are creating the records using CSV file, you have to mention the CSV file name as a model name. And I hope you having a fruitful information why we need to use this id field, then after why we need to use the model dot csv file name, then after the records here you can mention, then after if you want to change the record of the csv file, just you can go to here, open the file, you can change any record and just upgrade that module. For example, here one more question is, for example, let me upgrade this module first. And going to in front end side and refresh the page. Okay, so now might be we have like having some question. For example, I'm adding here record, I'm just updating this record by mistakenly, and I'm just restarting the service, I'm not upgrading the module. Then what happened, like Odoo automatically create all the records or not? So we will see here like what happened. I refresh the page, it will not change the record because we didn't upgrade that module. Let's say in your database this module is not installed, and when you once you install this module, then and if you have a list of CSV file and contains records, then it will create records while installation time also. So today we see only once we upgrade the module, then what happened to the CSV file, like it will create a record, plus it will update the record. And one more thing is, what about when the user delete the record? Let's say I'm deleting these three records here. So those records available in CSV file or XML file, and while you upgrade the module, and if you refresh the page, then it will check into the specific model's record. If such record is not available, then it will automatically create in backend side. Now I'm refreshing the page, you can see here like these three records created by default in Odoo side. And one more thing is, sometimes what happen, like some records like user don't want after after upgrading or installing the module, then you have to simply delete such records from the CSV file. That's the option. Otherwise what happened, like Odoo automatically creates such records if those records not found. For example, I have to create more records. This records created by Odoo automatically, and again you want to create more records. Here you have to just go to here and add here records, and once you will upgrade the module and refresh the page, it will automatically create the remaining records. So you can see hobby 14 is the last record, and you can see hobby list is the last record in CSV file. Now in our next session we can see how to add relational field in CSV file. For example, you can see how to add like many to one field, many to many field, and one to many field. Let me revise one more time. Odoo provides to create records using CSV file. Like once you are installing or upgrading module, like all the CSV file check for the specific module, and it will create or update records accordingly. And you have to remember one more thing is, while you create the CSV file, so first row is for the field name, and especially for the first field should be ID. Like ID is a unique ID here. And yes, one more thing is, for example, let's say by mistakenly ID is the same one like this one and after this one. So what happened is, like first Odoo check this line, okay, hobby underscore 3 is a ID, we have to create a gym record, or if it is available in front end side, then it will leave it as it is. Then after again check, okay, hobby underscore 3, we have to use the name as the record name as a singing, so it will override this gym to singing. Let's see how. And I'm upgrading the module, and you can see here like this one especially, okay, singing. So this is the difference. And once you go, open the form view, and if you go to in view metadata, you can see hobby underscore 3. So that's the main difference, and you have to always remember ID should be always unique here, and then the record, and then the rest of the field names. If you have any doubt, please comment below, and see you in next session. And yes, please don't forget to share this discussion, and don't forget to subscribe this channel.